Hey people, it's your blind buddy, man, coming to you with a, well, I guess let me see, look up and see if I can't see. I can't see the sun, but it's shining where I'm sitting at, so, I guess it's shining.
No,
Man, I get
it's
on here.
out there it ain't.
No, okay, well, ain't no sunshine when it's gone, but I found it, and I'm standing here alone, so I guess I got sunshine on my own.
That's right.
Well, I get on here. I'm getting on here this morning, man. I just want to conversate like I do, you know. And hopefully, like I said, reach out and grab a hold of somebody that, yeah, man. I know. I done been in a lot of places, you know, and a lot of places. I ain't see a lot of people when I was in them places. So a lot of people done been in places that I've been, and been through the same thing I've been, whether we were there at the same time or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're either going through what I done been through, you're going through something that I'm still going through, and we make it. You may know something I don't, but if I know something you don't, then we can put it together and see if both of us can't get out the mud. You know what I'm talking about? That's my whole idea behind anything I do now when I conversate, cause you know that's why I tell people I ain't no preacher, I ain't no pastor, so you know. I ain't looking for, nobody to pay me no tithes, and, God ain't gonna, send you to hell for, sitting around and listening at somebody that got the same experience that you did. In a place where everything here is hell bent on sending everything here to hell. So, you wanna hear a conversation, man, we should be allowed to conversate with each other, or at least let each other talk about our experiences, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, a lot of times when you get to talking and somebody hears something they don't like about what you said, you pretty much plucking the feathers on a duck, you know. You gonna hear him quack every time you pluck one of his feathers out. Yeah. Because we live in a world where everybody want to be blow dried, but nobody want to be plucked. They walking around with dead feathers on them, and they wonder why can't nobody fly. You know what I mean? Everybody down here trying to fly, but want to keep syrup on their wings. And then when you try to clean some of the syrup off, they want to get all butthurt and get offended because you had to pluck a wing out, pluck a feather out. You know what I mean? Well, I get on here and I try to let people know, man, there's a brighter day, and this comes from somebody that don't have no sight. You know, this when. When your soul is about your soul, man. I'm only telling these things because these things they come to me because my relationship with the Father that everybody is seeking. That's why I tell everybody my relationship with the Father it's just strengthening.
Yes.
Through what's happening and what's done happen throughout my life, even, people say, well, man, you don't sound like nobody that God showing favor to. So why would I want to serve God that don't do it all that to you? I'm like, well, you know what? Because through it all, it is not without explanation. And it's the explanation that makes the journey bearable. Because if you had to go through it without any explanation, it would stand the reason why you wouldn't think it was God. You know what I mean? You wouldn't want to believe in a God that, say, well, he let you go through all that. What's the purpose? So you can see the picture. So you can see the picture of what God wants you to see. It's like, well, God is whatever it takes. And ain't nobody here can go past whatever it takes when it comes down to what God wants you to know. It's whatever it takes. It's like we don't realize that our soul is where the forever life resides. Life will always exist so for those that don't, they think that you just gonna live here and you're gonna die and ain't nothing else gonna come. Life always exists. Life will always and forevermore exist. Even the life that you think is so disgusting here with life will always exist if you stay in that life, then that's the only life that's going to exist for you. You know, and when you have an opportunity to live life, and the life that we live on this planet, you know, it stands to reason why nobody wants to be in it. Those that want to be in it are the ones that's making the life hell for those that don't have that kind of life here, you know?
Yeah.
And for those that don't have that kind of life here, it's because your life is not meant to be what it is here, prosperously. You know what I mean? Prospering in this life is only prospering in this life. If you don't think there's another life that exists, then this is, you know, this is why you would dislike God. But, you know, this is not a life that God would have for you. If it's going through a whole bunch of stuff, it's not the life that God would have for you. It's so God can show you the life that he wants you to have. You know what I mean? Those that constantly run through the world and try to satisfy the flesh, they seek the things of the flesh. They don't seek the things of God. I don't care what nobody on this planet say otherwise. You know, if your flesh smiling all the time because you retrieving things of the world, then, you know, get rid of them things and see if your flesh still have a reason to smile.
Right.
If it don't, then you know which direction you were going. And if you think God has got you on this planet just beating down on you, it's like, cause I done went through it. I done been there. They're like, why you do me this way? Why? All I do is seek you. Like, yeah, we gonna go through it, but it's a matter of how much of it will you go through. You know, if you say you're gonna follow him, then you'll follow him. Because if you say you're gonna want to live with him forever, then you should know what forever look like. How much of the thorns will you go through to see what forever look like? It ain't forever thorns. You know, but if you ain't willing to go through the thorns, then you guess what? How can you ever expect to live forever in a place where the Father is? You understand what I'm saying? Because if you're going to want to spend forever with the Father, what would you need time away from him for? You know, because if you're willing to go through the thorns and go through the fire, then you ain't going to turn around and want to go back through it. Just to see if you can make it back through again. You make that one journey count. You know, it's a one-way street. And it ain't one that you should want to turn around and come back down the other way. That's why you know, that's what separates the rubber from the road. It said, you know, those that endure to the end will see God. You can't see God turning around on the middle of the road and turn around going back the other way all the time. Because God ain't but one way. And if you coming from the way that he ain't, then you look foolish turning around if you go in that direction the way he is. You look foolish turning around going back the other way. Mm-hmm. So if you know you done found him, you know, you got to keep that path regardless of what it looked like. Because if it was looking stinking going the bad way, then it's going to look stinking going back the other way. It didn't smell good either way you were going. But one direction promises a place to where it don't stink no more. So if you were going to just keep running down into the stink, then get you some nose plugs. But if you're going to just continue to run toward the place where it's going to eventually not stink, then don't worry about it. Just take the smell and go on. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the road, it don't stink no more. I put up with the stink and put up with the thorns. Because when I get to the end of that path, I don't hear nothing but horns. You know what I'm saying? You know? And be like hitting the slot. That's why I get on here and I tell people, man, encouragement, man. You gotta keep a path of righteousness and walk upright if you're gonna walk upright when you get to the path where righteousness leads. When you get to the destination where righteousness leads, why would you want to be crawling? You should be walking upright. Because that's what you're striving to do, is live upright. How can you expect to live upright when you're walking with your head down and your whole body out of sight? You know what I mean? Stand upright, walk upright. It don't matter if you got sight, walk upright. You know? Because when you get to the place the right place, you know, you've been walking right because you've been walking upright because you can see where you're going. Don't let this world trick you into thinking that, you know, because you're in a place like I am. The world still try to beat down the blind man. You know, that's what drove me closer. Because I saw it. I was in a place where they don't even care nothing about a person that can't see. So, you know, if I physically can't see, and then there's people on this planet that spiritually can't see, then somebody got to care. All right? Why not me? I care for those that can't see. You know? And that's just who I am. That's who I'll always be. That's who I've been in this world. I'm like, well, you know, regardless of what has happened and what has been done, I know I'll always be, you know, one of them that's considered a son. You know, because who I am. And the stature I present, it's when I get on these videos, it's the message that's been sent, you know. Because in spirit is the only place I walk. When you hear me on this video, it's the only place you're going to hear me talk. Because from this point on, I won't see nobody ever again as I walk around in this world telling the truth about all this sin. When I get to the place where my physical end, I hope most of you will follow me to the place where life will truly begin. Get your church together and let's fight this weather and walk through all of these storms. Because the place where we're going, there will be no more harm. You're blind buddy, always and forever, baby.